Hi, it's Eason, and let me break character and step away from reviewing albums for a while to talk about an issue that has surfaced recently. I'm talking about the Petapixel article by Jay Selmarin titled How I Got Banned from Photographing the Band Arch Enemy. A link to the article is in the description. If you haven't read it yet, I want you to pause this and go read it before moving forward, because I'm not going to be reading everything in it, I'm just going to be summarizing it. The author and subject of the article, Mr. Juan Selmarin, attended to the Forte Rock Festival in Netherlands, which happens on the 1st and 2nd of June. There, he photographed many bands, Arch Enemy among them. He liked the picture of their singer Alyssa white-gluz so much he shared it on his Instagram. Alyssa white-gluz herself reposted the photo. So far, no problems. An issue emerged when Thunderball Clothing, the brand that had made the clothes Alyssa was wearing on the photo, shared the photo on their own Instagram page, which is a business account, with the caption that she was wearing her custom Thunderball vest. Since Mr. Selmarin rightfully thought that this was commercial use of his work, and since there were no prior agreements for Thunderball Clothing to be able to do so, he contacted them and asked for a licensing fee. Said fee was €500, and he even suggested that if they didn't want to pay it as a license fee per se, they could instead donate 1/5 of the fee, which is €100, to a cancer charity of his choice. In case it wasn't clear, this would mean that he wouldn't get paid for the use of the photo at all, which he presented them with the option of choosing. This whole thing resulted in a back and forth between Mr. Selmarin and Thunderball Clothing until Angela Gasso, former Arch Enemy singer and current band manager, stepped in, and then shit hit the fan. And I would say quite literally. I am going to read Angela Gasso's response to Mr. Selmarin because it is a case in point on how not to handle a situation like this. Fair enough, Mr. Selmarin. We have immediately removed the picture you took at Forte Rock. By the way, we are sure you don't mind if you are not welcome anymore to take pictures of Arch Enemy performances in the future at festivals or solo performances. I have copied in the label reps and booking agent who will inform promoters. No band wants to have photographers on site who later send such threatening correspondence to monetize on their images. By the way, the email below was not from Marta, but from Alyssa herself personally, the artist you blatantly wanted to sell the picture to. Nice price tag, €500. In BCC the band so they know about you in the future. Thank you and have a nice day. Oh, by the way, we do frequently donate to charity, but on our own terms and free will. Where to start? I mean, first of all, how is the first option blacklisting a photographer whose only crime was wanting to be compensated in some shape or form for his work that was used commercially? Why is the first response taking a matter that could have been resolved internally, that should have been resolved internally, out into the open in a way that would be devastating to Mr. Selmarin had he been making a living as a photographer? Second problem I'm having is this threatening correspondences to monetize on their images thing. Look, his work was used for the promotion of a clothing brand without prior agreement. What is so absurd about a photographer wanting some form of compensation for the use of his copyrighted work? Commercial use, no less. You wouldn't be saying this about people who would use your music for their own ventures like this video now, would you? I mean, I won't have to have ads on this video that won't pay me a single red cent, right? And the artist you blatantly wanted to sell the picture to, he never wanted to sell it to Alyssa white-gluz or you, and in fact has repeatedly stated that he has no problem with her sharing it. So how is it that you take all this correspondence that came before this email that you wrote and take it as the artist wanting to extort Alyssa white-gluz for a picture? Oh, and my favorite is the nice price tag. Thanks for the playground level language here. How professional of you. It took them a while to issue a statement, but both Angela Gasso and Alyssa white-gluz have issued separate statements regarding this. Angela Gasso's sorry not sorry non-apology was that she got angry, she felt threatened by the fact that Mr. Selmarin was also a lawyer, she thinks photographers having the copyright to their work makes artists feel vulnerable, she hasn't forced photographers into binding contracts that would limit their say on their own intellectual property so far, indicating that perhaps she will rethink this for the future, and that there was some miscommunication and some misunderstanding. The main issue I'm having with this is a fact that Angela Gasso, having been in the industry for so many years, does not need me to remind her. You are the band manager. You're supposed to step back, assess the situation, and try to work out a solution that will disenfranchise neither the photographer nor the band itself. You're not supposed to act like you're delivering a well-deserved smackdown to the idiot at the front row of a gig who just shouted at you to get your tits out. In turn, Alyssa white-gluz's response was even more interesting. Firstly, she doesn't think someone's copyrighted work being used in a commercial setting is commercial use. To elaborate, the photo was shared on Thunderbolt Clothing's, the brand's Instagram, to promote the fact that they have made clothing for arch enemies sometime in the past. This is commercial use. Because you know what a synonym for commercial is? Advertisement. Second, she states that she thinks the use of someone else's copyrighted material in your own ventures, business or otherwise, is just how online communities work, which, you know, is good to know, because then I can just start using whatever the hell I want and not bother with free use or whatever anymore. Going on, she expresses in so many words that getting exposure should be enough for the photographers. They should be doing it because they love shooting the band. We're gonna get to this exposure thing in a minute. Fourth, she says that she thinks fan pages are misunderstanding the issue because they are run by teenagers from different countries who, get this, don't grasp the true issue because of a language barrier. Really? So those dumbass teens don't know what they readin', they ill-informed just because they don't stand by you 100%? Wow. Just wow. I mean, I have seen bands talking down to their fan base, but this is something. And then she ends her segment stating that there are many photographers that Arch Enemy loves to work with who love working with the band, implying that you either toe the line or get lost. Much to their credit, however, Thunderbolt Clothing is the only party involved in this debacle that has issued an actual apology. That was actually very nice of them to do, considering the fact that the band they sponsor doesn't seem to think there is a problem at all, and even if there is, it doesn't stem from them. Sorry, but I think Angela Gasso and Alyssa white-gluz should be taking notes. Now let's get to this exposure thing and why it is the crux of the issue. Now, I would never disrespect Angela Gasso or Alyssa white-gluz or anyone involved in any of their ventures by suggesting that they don't know how fucking scummy this getting paid with exposure bullshit is. When was the last time either of you or any of your bands got paid with exposure and were content with it? Second, why do you think copyrights apply to every aspect of your work but not to that of anyone else's? Why is appropriating someone's work for commercial purposes without licensing it or having any prior agreement with the artist themselves okay when it works for you, and why do you suddenly just start swinging when it is suggested that no, you can't use copyrighted work just like that? Because nobody had any problem with anyone sharing anything until Thunderbolt Clothing came in and commercial use became a question. There was no issue when Mr. Selmerin shared it, there was no issue when Alyssa shared it, but the moment it turned into promotional material and the photographer reminded you that copyrights do exist, you had a problem with it. What was it that Alyssa white-gluz said? Oh yeah, no one from Arch Enemy nor Thunderbolt ever denied paying the photographer in commercial for the commercial use of this photo. Yes, that is exactly what the both of you did. The screenshots of exchanges clearly show that you did everything to deny the guy any sort of payment. In fact, you even refused to donate to a cancer charity of his choice because, according to Angela Gasso, Arch Enemy only donates to charities when they feel like it. And in both statements, both Angela Gasso and Alyssa white-gluz act like removing the said photos just takes care of the problem. No, it doesn't. Removing the photos does not change the fact that you defended a clothing brand that sponsors you no less using these photographs commercially, nor does it change the fact that you responded with the manner of a bully by first making fun of his demand for fair compensation and then by moving forward to blacklist him. How does removing the photos or taking them down from Instagram accounts change the fact that Angela Gasso personally stated that she would move forward and inform inform everybody she knows in the industry that they should not let this guy in. This is both unprofessional and shameful behavior from any band, let alone a band admittedly as big as Arch Enemy. And I'm very curious as to why you even need me or anyone to remind you that copyrights apply to other people than you. And at the end of it all, I'm just wondering one thing. How many others did you do this to? How many others will you do this to? And I thought the band was supposed to be anarchists or something.